of you who were at CILS6 will know that we have spoken about this and that we would like to dive deeper into agrobiodiversity, which we have through our surveys. And while doing the surveys, all of these themes kept coming up, right? We were talking about mycotoxins, about Matona, about not being an aspirational crop. All of this kept coming up, and we realized we needed a space, a dedicated space for deeper conversations. So we decided to start this agrobiodiversity roundtable, more focused on millets in the Kanha landscape, which we launched in August 2023. That's when we first hosted this with a number of experts, some NGOs, some FPOs. You'll see some faces in the pictures who are also in the audience today. And in the last 3 roundtables, we've somehow created this lovely group of this community that shows up on their own, voluntarily wants to keep working on certain themes, and I will take you through what we've learned in the last 3 roundtables. So can we go to the next slide? This is from our very first roundtable in Mandla in August 2023. The idea was just to get these group of people together, and the conversation was pretty much, the themes that kept coming up. Can we go to the next slide for a second? Yeah. So we came up with a lot of themes that had come up during our surveys. But when we met these FPO directors, these NGOs, we learned about something that we weren't thinking about: seeds. Seeds kahan hain? There aren't enough seeds. If there are seeds, are we doing anything to actually protect their diversity? So a big topic that came up during the first roundtable was this conversation around seeds. Unfortunately, Soumik Banerjee, who's from Keystone Foundation and has incredible knowledge about this, couldn't be here. His car broke down, unfortunately, but I really wish that you will look at some of the resources we have and see what he's showed us in the past. The other thing that we discussed in the first roundtable, because this is just, we're just getting the conversation started, was why is rice being preferred over millets? And so some of the things that Ruth already said, it's very labor intensive. There is no MSP. This is what makes paddy the dominant crop. And once we did the roundtable, one thing was absolutely clear to us, that we cannot look at this as just one small problem. There is a comprehensive ecosystem that we need to look at, and different themes that we need to address and need to continue doing them. The first roundtable was a wonderful success, and the group, very motivated, met again in 6 months, about 7 months, and we hosted this at Earth Focus in Mukhi. If Vibhor is here, thank you, Vibhor, did an incredible job of hosting us at their campus. We did a site visit at their processing unit as well, so that gave some of us a very good idea of how we actually process millets. And here, 2 of them are actually showing us how the processing is done. Can we move on? Yeah, can you go to the next slide? So again, these themes kept coming up: the importance of documenting millet varieties and seed banks. So Soumik's not here today, but he often says that seed banks are actually now just display centers. Are they actually operational? Can we actually use them? So seed banks is something that continued to come up. Amrita hosted this wonderful panel with the FPO directors. Their names are Jyoti and Birjo. Again, could not join us today, but it would have been wonderful to have them here. A very interesting point that came up from their panel was that the support that they need from NGOs, and that could be anything from, easing the paperwork that they have, even with a certain type of gender bias. When they're in these rooms with us, they have these incredible discussions, but when they go back, they often have the problem of, farmers not taking them as seriously, just basis their gender. So we had a wonderful conversation around how NGOs can actually help our FPO directors, especially women, in solving some of these problems. Another thing that came up was the lack of this market. And so Ruth and Ashutosh, who was here yesterday, we discussed the possibility of a landscape brand, which is something that we did the BETHAC on yesterday, where instead of all NGOs, FPOs trying to sell these products separately, maybe we can club them into this one umbrella landscape brand and sell this as one unit from the Central Indian landscape. Another thing that came up during this was that there is a need for enhancing machinery for harvesting and processing because it is back-breaking work. And of course, Ruth mentioned the toxins that are found in Kodo. This is a conversation that we were having through the roundtables, through the surveys, and we've been working on this with a small working group. So the second roundtable basically was this opportunity to let these themes become more apparent, and we formed about 6 working groups that in my very terrible handwriting are listed here. There was nutrition and food safety, seeds, landscape brand, production technology, a literature review, and policy and knowledge sharing. And as working groups go, there is sometimes it works really well, sometimes it doesn't, but we have had some incredible outputs from some of these working groups. Can we go to the next one? This is the last roundtable. We met just recently in August, and this is from a site visit to one of the FPOs. Again, Birjo's not here today, but this was an incredible site visit to their processing unit. This roundtable also gave us the idea that we brought to CILS, which is the BETHAC, where we sat with all of the farmers, people who run the FPOs, and had some of the most incredible conversations. And please, can you go on? Yeah. So the key takeaways from this roundtable, other than the conversation we had at the BETHAC, was that the landscape brand group made some progress, and we decided that our brand could possibly be called Tesu, which is another word for Palash, right? Somix, again, not here today, but this incredible thing came out, which we learned from Dr. Oliver King, who is at MSSRF, about custodian farmers. So there are certain diversity blocks that they create to preserve the seeds, and if farmers are using a piece of their land to protect the seed, we should be compensating them monetarily. So that is an entire concept of custodian farmers that has been coming up through the roundtables. The third is that while we were talking about the mycotoxin in Kodo, we realized that there are solutions to this that the villagers already know because they've been consuming Kodo for a long time. For example, when Ruth said that she fell sick after eating Kodo, if you talk to someone who consumes it, the first thing they'll tell you is, tell them to drink chach, tell them to drink buttermilk. They have these solutions, they exist already. And I said this to, I think, someone at in the Lokovo team recently, that the reason this hasn't been solved is because there hasn't been attention to it, not because Kodo is the bad guy. It's just a problem that we haven't solved yet. It could be the lack of attention, the lack of finances, all of those things. But something that came up is that there is traditional knowledge that exists, but we don't know it. So this roundtable, we also decided to form a new working group, which is the traditional knowledge working group, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what we're going to be doing with it. There's also Vasan, this NGO that hosts these millet mentor programs, and you can check what they do through their website, and this is the site visit. Can we move on? Some progress from the working groups that I wanted to share is, of course, the landscape brand. There's been some progress here. We're figuring out how to move past some of the barriers, which could be how do you work through some of the legalities of it. There was some conversation at the BETHAC last night, and we're just currently at the brand name, but we will make some more progress soon. Food safety, Ruth already shared that a team of scientists is working on creating this test, and without making too many promises, we hope that we can actually do that very soon. The third is the traditional knowledge. So our working group has planned some focus group discussions, which are going to be hosted next month, and we will try to, as ethically and as properly as possible, document some of this traditional knowledge on how kodo and kutki are stored, especially on storage, because there are ways that you can protect the toxin from developing when it is stored. And this is something that we've managed to do. All of our roundtable resources, right from August 2023 to August 2024, 3 roundtables, all of our resources are available on the NCCI website. Can we move on? This has your presentations, a resource directory of all of the experts with their contact numbers, what their expertise is. There are session videos that were documented by the Green Hub team. Bhumika and Sunil are here, who always come join us for the roundtables. And we also write a report following the roundtable, which is also available on our website. So because of the time constraint, I would urge you to go to the website and look at some of the roundtable resources for a deeper insight into what we've been doing.